Imagine an Olympics where everyone is on performance-enhancing drugs.
The doping Olympics.
This is the Olympics plus drugs and money.
The Enhanced Games. Juiced-up athletes compete for glory and prize money of up to $1 million. Faster, higher, stronger, and full of drugs. They sell it as the future of human performance, a new era of elite competition. But if you take a closer look, it's only one part of the story. Because hidden behind the facade of a sports competition, they're actually trying to build something bigger.
I believe that the human enhancements industry will actually be the largest industry of all time.
So this story isn't about establishing a rival to the Olympics. It's more about building the next Red Bull, just literally on steroids. Welcome to Athletic Interest in the insane business of the Enhanced Games. Oh, and before we get into it, yes, there's a new voice. Mark's moved on to new things. I'm Brett, and I'm genuinely excited to be part of this. Now, let's get into it. Performance enhancement is as old as sports itself. The ancient Greeks invented the Olympics and the earliest forms of doping. Some athletes used hallucinogens and hemp. Others swore by psychedelic mushrooms, opioids, and stones taken from the stomachs of roosters. And if none of that fits your taste, there was always the classic, eating animal testicles. The Romans didn't hold back either. Gladiators used strychnine, basically rat poison, to gain an edge. Chariot racers fed their horses hydromel, a type of honey wine, to boost performance. So ancient Roman competitions weren't just brutal gladiator death matches. They were also arenas full of drunk horses, which honestly would have sold tickets on its own. But we're getting off topic here. The point is, for most of human athletic history, enhancement wasn't banned. It was basically the norm. That only changed in the 1960s, when the IOC introduced its first anti-doping rules. It was a reaction to the death of a Danish cyclist who collapsed during the road race at the Rome Olympics. But the anti-doping initiative became a constant catch me if you can. Performance-enhancing substances never really went away. Look at the 100 meter, the purest test of human speed. 7 of the top 10 fastest times in history belong to athletes with doping violations. By the 1980s, the gap between the official story and reality was so obvious that Saturday Night Live made it a punchline.
The first all-drug Olympics opened today in Bogota, Colombia.
And it wasn't just comedians who floated the idea. In 1985, a West German sports physician warned of a coming, this is a real quote, waxworks museum of specially bred athletes. 6 years later, the former president of the German Swimming Federation proposed forming a circus group of elite athletes subject to different rules, allowed to use whatever they wanted. The idea kept coming back because the problem never went away. Fast forward to 2023, and these guys decided to actually do it. The first official Enhanced Games are taking place in Las Vegas. What was a punchline for 35 years just became a $1.2 billion company before a single starting gun fires. But what even are the Enhanced Games?
This is the Olympics plus drugs.
Well, there's a little more to it. The Enhanced Games were founded by lawyer Aaron D'Souza, together with a group of investors like biotech billionaire Christian Agermeyer, tech billionaire Peter Thiel, and even Donald Trump Jr. The games will feature roughly 40 athletes competing in swimming, track, and weightlifting. Most athletes will use substances such as testosterone, growth hormones, and peptides as part of a clinical trial. These enhancements are said to add about 5% to their performance and are approved and monitored by doctors. We'll come back to those claims later. Unenhanced athletes are technically allowed too, although that sounds a bit like entering Formula One on a bicycle. For the founders, the Enhanced Games are about technology, growth, and innovation. They think it's deeply rooted in people that they want to see the very best of human performance. Just like the UFC is marketed as showcasing not just the best boxer or wrestler, but overall best fighter, the Enhanced Games wants to present the best version of what a human body can possibly become.
At the first Enhanced Games, athletes will break world records.
They justify everything by arguing that athletes dope anyway. So they want to allow it, be transparent about it, and ultimately make it safer in the process. With that, they are pushing sports into a world of logical and physical extremes, unrestricted by the rules and regulations of traditional competition. This might sound exciting, and of course, there's a lot of money to win. But if you are an athlete, there are two problems with this. First, once you sign up for this, you will likely never be allowed to compete in any other regular competitions again. Second, even under medical supervision, doping can lead to serious health issues. So why would any athlete take part in this?
If they put up $1 million for the 50 freestyle world record, I'll come on board as their first athlete, I'll juice to the gills, and I'll break it within 6 months.
That was James Magnuson on a podcast. Organizers heard it, called him up, and put up the bounty. And just like that, the Enhanced Games had their first athlete. He committed fully, and within weeks, the transformation was visible. He gained significant muscle mass in a very short time. But his swim times got worse. Turns out, more muscle doesn't automatically mean faster in the water. But even more important, he got beaten by Christian Golubev, and he indeed set a new 50-meter freestyle world record. Or actually, he didn't. Because it was achieved under enhancement, the record doesn't count. But for Christian, that probably doesn't really matter. Because instead of an official world record, it earned him the biggest paycheck of his career. The Enhanced Games offer up to 1 million payouts for those so-called world records. And on top of that, an undisclosed appearance fee. That's life-changing money. For some perspective, during his entire 14-year professional career, 4 Olympics, countless international competitions, Golubev earned roughly $200,000 in total. We actually made a full video about the low Olympic athlete salaries. So when the Enhanced Games offer $250,000 just for winning an event, plus appearance fees, plus $1 million bonus for a world record, the conversation changes fast. Although it did take much more time than the founders anticipated to find athletes willing to participate. Instead of thousands of athletes, it will be less than 100, and instead of 2024, the event is happening 2 years later. But the confirmed field includes some credible names. Ben Proud, British Olympic silver medalist. Fred Curley, 2022 100-meter world champion. And Hafthor Bjornsson, the mountain from Game of Thrones, former world's strongest man. Even though these are accomplished professional athletes, there might be a gap between the headlines and the biological reality. The Enhanced Games are built on one core premise, that with the right substances, athletes will perform around 5% better than they ever could naturally. That world records will fall. Let's look at the centerpiece. Usain Bolt's 100-meter world record, 9.58 seconds, set in Berlin in 2009. It was a perfect collision of factors that are almost impossible to recreate. A world championship final, 2 of the fastest men alive, a generational talent at the peak of his career? None of that will be in Las Vegas. And the 5% improvement claim doesn't hold up for sprinting anyway. Testosterone and growth hormone help with muscle mass and recovery. Their impact on pure explosive speed at elite level is far less clear. Bolt's record has survived every clean and every quietly doped athlete for 17 years. The idea that Fred Curley on a medical protocol in a casino is going to run 9.27, because that's what 5% actually means, is a very bold prediction. And a marketing claim. The Enhanced Games are full of them, which brings us to their actual business model. Unlike the Olympics, which rely on broadcasting rights and sponsorships, the Enhanced Games have no big sponsors and plan to stream for free on YouTube. Still, before a single race was won, the Enhanced Games were valued at $1.2 billion. So, how do they make money? The sports event isn't the product. The sports event is the ad. In March 2026, right as the games were approaching, Enhanced launched its consumer platform, selling supplements and testosterone therapy. The business model has a name you already know, Red Bull. Red Bull doesn't sell an energy drink. They sell an idea of human limits being shattered. Cliff dives, Formula One, insane stunts. They create desire, then sell the wings. The Enhanced Games follows the exact same playbook. Every record-breaking sprint, every world-class lift, every viral transformation video is a live advertisement for performance enhancement. Red Bull on steroids. Nike and later Ineos spent millions engineering Kipchoge's sub-2-hour marathon for a similar reason. Science is spectacle, spectacle as marketing. But to be clear, this was without any doping involved. The target customer of Enhanced Games? Middle-aged men, feeling slower, less sharp, less energetic than they used to. already living in a world where Ozempic is a dinner party conversation, where testosterone clinics advertise on podcasts, where Brian Johnson is spending millions trying to reverse his biological age. The Enhanced Games wants that guy to watch a 35-year-old swimmer beat a world record and think, what is he on and how do I get it? The investors behind it tell us more. Peter Thiel, famous for founding PayPal and early investing in Facebook, Palantir, and Donald Trump. The Winklevoss twins, a Saudi prince, Donald Trump Jr., D'Souza is the founder. But the most interesting person in this story is his co-founder. Christian Angermayer is a German biotech billionaire whose investment group manages over $2.5 billion and sponsors a prize for healthspan research. And in February 2024, he published a Substack post that reads less like an investor thesis and more like a manifesto. His argument? We are entering a golden age of human enhancement, and it will come in waves. First, body weight. Ozempic already proved the market. Then sexual enhancement, then muscle, then cognitive, smarter, sharper, more focused. Then happiness, psychedelics as mass market mental health tools. And finally, the end game, transhumanism. Brain-computer interfaces, Neuralink, superhuman abilities through the seamless integration of technology into our bodies. In that sense, the Enhanced Games are a public demonstration, a proof of concept. They believe that the human enhancement industry will actually be the largest industry of all time. And of course, like all startups, part of their pitch has an AI dimension. One worldview is that AI will become more and more powerful, replace more and more jobs, and humans become a second-class species inferior to machines. D'Souza is proposing an alternative. His conclusion: the only way to keep humans competitive is to enhance them, remove the regulatory barriers, and let science upgrade the species. It's a sci-fi pitch dressed up as a sports event. Whether you find it visionary or completely unhinged probably depends on your prior beliefs about technology and human nature. But as an investment thesis, it's a powerful story. So, is this the future of sports or the most expensive pharmaceutical ad ever? What's safe to say is the Enhanced Games are tapping into a growing global obsession with optimization. From drugs like Ozempic making huge waves, to billionaires like Brian Johnson trying to reverse aging, to athletes like LeBron James and Cristiano Ronaldo investing millions into their bodies. Right now, the Enhanced Games seems like a love child of transhumanists, and it's hard to tell whether they will remain a one-and-done exhibition or grow into a regular event. Either way, and this is the thing, we're watching, and that, for now, is the point.